I might try and do a chant for each player from here on into the video. Stick around. I love Ismail, he's a winger for Watford. That is really good. Hit the like button. Christ. Hit the like button. Fuck. God, I'm good. Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I hope you're all doing very, very well. The Championship season is pretty much done. Of course, the playoffs are still to happen, but the regular season is finished. And so it's now time to have a look at each team's player of the season. You might like some, you might not like some, but what I do want to see is you guys in the comments. If you're a Barnsley fan, if you're a Bristol City fan, if you're a QPR fan, if you're a Norwich City fan, if you're a Championship fan, if you're an EFL fan, and if you're a Premier League fan, we do not discriminate on this channel. Get involved. Let me know where I've got it wrong, where you think I've got it right, and why. Maybe focus on that one because it's better for my ego. And whilst you're doing all of that, hit subscribe. Hopefully you've enjoyed the content this season. We've got the Euros still to come. It's going to be so exciting. There's going to be absolute chaos in the transfer window as well. So take a second, do me a favour. If you haven't subscribed just yet, but still a huge percentage of the people that watch the channel aren't subscribed to the channel. So let's keep it moving. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4. Subscribe to the channel. Let's begin with Barnsley. 3. Christ. The surprise package of the Championship season. Have a look at that table. You know, you look at their goal difference compared to the other guys, and that highlights their style of play. They get it to a point where it's almost a bit like a basketball match, and often it comes down to a lot of set pieces. But you know, they've run teams into the ground with their pressing. The management has been superb as well in terms of the changes that they make, utilising the 5 substitutes that you can make, often changing the entire front line. But I'm not going to go for a forward. Daryl Dickey has been he's been a revelation since he's come in at Barnsley. He scored 9 goals in 12 games. That's 0.7 goals per 90, which is ridiculous. But I've got to go for the Barnsley skipper, Alex Mowat. He's a quality box-to-box midfielder. I've been so impressed with not just his output, 8 goals and 7 assists, but he's just a good leader for the team. He drives them forward with his energy as much as everything else. And in terms of total appearances, if you break down, you know, the 43 appearances that he's had and the total minutes that he's had, which is 3,741, that's 41.690s. He plays pretty much every minute of the season. Doesn't get taken off in a team that is sort of lung bursting in their approach. His conversion rate in terms of goals as well, 37%, which is really strong for a centre midfielder, which highlights that he's not just, you know, someone with loads of energy in a team with loads of energy. He's got quality as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him at the end of the season. But you know, a captain's season for him, and he will leave as my player of the season if he does move. Birmingham City have had an absolute disaster of a season. Well, I mean, the only thing that could have got worse is them going down, and they've just about saved themselves through Lee Bowyer coming in and getting that bounce. And there's a player that's come up big in those games that's got them over the line. They've been absolutely terrible when it comes to scoring goals this season, and I know a lot of people like Ivan Sanchez, and he has been the one bright spark for them going forward. But 2 goals and 7 assists this season, not really enough for a player of the season performance for me. So I'm going to go with Harley Dean. In those games, he did come up big. He scored 3 goals for them in those victories, match winners, in fact, against Bristol City, against Reading and Rotherham United this season. Huge games against teams, you know, that they needed to beat to keep themselves in the league. And they've done exactly that. Birmingham, you know, away from home, they got 10 clean sheets, which is the second highest in the division. And so that comes from a solid defence to a point. Horrific at home this season, but I think I had to give it to a defender, and because of that, I'm giving it to Harley Dean. There's Harvey Elliot and there's Adam Armstrong, and let me know in the comments below which one would you go for, because you've got Adam Armstrong, 25 goals, 5 assists, 30 goal contributions is pretty stunning in the Championship. However, there is this caveat that according to SofaScore, he's missed 23 big chances this season. His XG is also 26.67, which means that he's actually just been underneath his XG despite scoring so many goals. And so if he's getting that many chances, and yeah, of course with XG we're being slightly pedantic, you've got to then look at some of the other players. And so my player of the season has to be Harvey Elliot. For the expectations that came with him, which were high, but of course it is a 17-year-old playing his first season of Championship football, he's been really, really good. And I think we were expecting him to be that young, energetic dribbler who just goes past players. And of course, he does do that at times, but he's only completed 0.9 successful dribbles per 90 this season for them. It's actually this sort of playmaker role that he kind of has for the team that has, set him apart for me and for Blackburn this season. And it is a real what could have been season for Blackburn, because if you look at his goal contributions this season, 6 goals, 11 assists, which is good. It's fine. It's okay. But again, if you look at SofaScore, it suggests that he created 14 big chances. So he should have had more assists, because those big chances with an XG of over 0.3. So really, he should be guaranteed at least 14 assists this season. So for him, with the slight physique that he has, I think he's just got real maturity in the way that he plays, great vision as well. A lot of key passes from him this year as well. I think he's a great player. I expect him to be involved in that Liverpool squad next season. He's just the kind of player that they need. Is he ready for that level? I'm not sure, but I think if you kind of pad his time and minutes for Liverpool, he will grow as a player, and I think he just about has the maturity to be a part of that Liverpool squad next season. There is one player for Bournemouth who, when he plays, they generally win. They generally get points, and you've seen that in the second half of the season as he's kicked on. Arnaut Danjuma came for 13.5 million last season, played 14 games, didn't score a goal, didn't really do that much. This year in the Championship, when he's played, as I say, they've just been a different animal, really. And he's just so balanced for me. If you look at the goals that he scored, 15 goals and 7 assists, which is really good for a left winger, really. But 8 of the goals coming from the left foot, 7 coming from the right foot, which is supposed to be his preferred foot, is his right foot. It just shows the balance and the quality that he has technically. This season, he's averaging 2.59 shots per 90. Just great trickery about him. He's getting shots off as well, 1.2 shots on target per 90. Second half of the season, scoring 10 of those 15 goals for him. He is the player of the season, and he will be the match winner going into the playoffs for Bournemouth, no doubt. Shall we say it together on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Ivan Toney. Yeah, that's right. Of course, Ivan Toney, one of the stars of the season when it comes to the Championship. What a striker he is. Absolutely everything you would want in a striker, and a player who, of course, came from Peterborough, scored a lot of goals there, and which highlights that the EFL is littered with talent in every single league. And Brentford's model proven once again that go and sell those players. Go sell Ollie Watkins. Go sell Malpai. You'll find another one, and they have with Ivan Toney. I think the thing I love about him, of course, is his goal scoring. 30 odd goals. 10 assists at the moment as I record this. We're going into the last game of the season, and he could still beat a Delta Raps record, which is a 40 goal contribution. He's equalled it. Ricky Lambert in the 2011-12 season got 41 goal involvement, so he could do that in the last game. We'll see. But he's unbelievable, isn't he? You know, I think the defensive side of him as well, you've got to remember, is just having someone like that. The amount of defensive clearances and headers that he offers up are huge for any team, and it's a great asset to have. But his mobility, he's scoring a goal every 127 minutes this season. It's outrageous. Truly impressive throughout the season, playing week in, week out, never gets rested. Stunning player for them. And he's only been dispossessed 11 times per 90 on average, which sounds like a lot, but when you think of how dominant Brentford are with the ball and how, high risk, I guess, the every touch that someone like Ivan Toney has, that highlights that, he doesn't lose the ball either. His hold-up play is really, really strong. Just one of the most complete Championship strikers we've ever seen, and I'm excited to see him in the Premier League, be it with Brentford or without. Hopefully without. Who am I supposed to pick? I'm going to go with a defender. I mean, there's a lot of really talented players in this Bristol City team, and you saw that in the first 8-9 games of the season, but they've completely fallen off a cliff. Is that down to bad coaching? Quite possibly. But I'm going to go, it's between Alfie Wilson and Callas. I'm going to go with Callas, Thomas Callas, the right back, just because I guess we've got to go with a defender here because the strikers have just been so woeful for them. Alfie Wilson's been injured since February, so I can't really chuck him in there. I mean, he's yet to receive a yellow card this season. I mean, the best stat we could find on him was 2.4 successful long balls per game, which means his distribution's okay. He got himself in a SofaScore team of the week 4 times. It's over, Bristol City fans. I think that's the best thing I can say about your season. And, well, congratulations to Thomas Callas. For Cardiff City, I'm going to go for that hunk of spunk, Kiefer Moore. That's right, I said hunk of spunk. He's had a great season for them. 20 goals this year. I think people go, oh, just lump it to the big guy. But he's got so much more than that. He's very mobile. You look at that in terms of the distribution. I'm sorry, I'm still just getting over the fact that I call, geez, lump of spunk. It just feels right, though. He was in the Championship Team of the Week on 7 occasions, 20 goals, as I said. Look, we're all after a 20-goal-a-season striker, and he's gone and done that for them. And like I said, with the distribution of his goals, you got 10 goals from his right foot, 5 from his left foot, and 5 headers as well. So it's not just all him just being this aerial dual magnet. Do you know what I mean? That said, 10.6 per 90 of his aerial duels are, it's pretty strong. But that's kind of down to how Cardiff play as well. He's got so much more than that. He's won 2 penalties for them as well. And he's scored penalties as well. 4 out of his 4. And they've been absolute belters as well. 195 centimetres of goal-scoring greatness. Wales fans will be hoping he's going to do big things this summer. And I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's going to draw a lot of attention this summer. I think Callum O'Hare's been really, really good for you. But I'm going to go with Gustavo Hamer because no one has been really that unbelievable for them because, you're punching up a little bit with the players that you've got in the squad at the moment. But it's giving you a footing to then move on again because Coventry City are a huge club. There's nothing wrong with short man syndrome and Hamer has it in spades. So tenacious at 5'6". I love it. I love that about him. It's evident in his defensive stats this season. 2.8 tackles and interceptions per 90. But interesting, only 0.6 clearances per 90. So when you accompany this with the fact that his pass accuracy this year is 85%, that highlights that he's just really good on the ball as well as being as tenacious as I said. Just really like what he's about. I really like what Coventry City are about this season. And I'm delighted to see them still in the Championship this year. It's been an absolute show for Wayne Rooney's Derby County. Lots of issues all around the club, and then on the pitch it's just been pretty woeful. Not scoring enough goals, and a big reason looks like you can pinpoint it to the injury to Christian Bielik. Of course, he can play at the back, he can play midfield, and he's a cracking player on the ball, just sort of glides around with it with that big frame of his. And losing him has been huge for them. They've really fallen like a stone. And it's sad to see them in that position, especially with the amount of money that they've spent over the last few years. I'm going to give Christian Bielik Player of the Season just because I can't find anyone else to give it to. What a mess. Oh, Macaroma, mana, oh, Macaroma, oh, just Caroma when you're playing for Huddersfield. Not sure what that is. Josh Caroma is my Player of the Season for Huddersfield. Between him and Naby Sarr, but I think you can't really put a defender in when you lose 7-0 this season. Is that harsh? Let me know in the comments below. But Caroma was on loan for the first half of the season. Came in 7 goals and 2 assists in 19 appearances. He's pretty good. I like his ball progression as a goal scoring threat for them as well. Really, really dangerous. 1.2 successful dribbles per 90. He's contributed a lot in that second half of the season. That's again kept them up this year. If Huddersfield are going to do anything next year, he needs to stay and he needs to push on. The 22-year-old he's exciting. I think he's definitely going to be at the heart of any form of success that Huddersfield have next season. Kianan, Jewsbury, Hall. He can play as a 6, he can play as a 10, he can play as an 8, which is where he's played most of this season. He's just been a really capable player in the Championship. And I think it feels like there's a real ceiling for him. Like he can go a lot higher than this level, and he will do. He's going to go back to Leicester City, and I think he might start to play some games next season because, if Brendan Rodgers stays there, he's happy to kind of bring some of these players in, and if they're going to play 3 in midfield, he will be a really good fit for that. He's scored 2 goals this season, 6 assists. I love the fact that he's also averaging 2.8 tackles and interceptions per 90, which is very high. So super energetic. I love the way that he's been smart with his pressing as well. And also you chuck in some key passes as well. 1.6 key passes per game. Very complete. Really, really complete. And will fit in well to being a squad player for Leicester City next season. Great season for KDH. Congratulations, mate. Player of the season, definitely. He's here, he's there, his name's Paddy Mcnair, Paddy Mcnair, Paddy Mcnair. I might try and do a chant for each player from here on into the video. Stick around. Paddy Mcnair is my Player of the Season for Middlesbrough. He's really, really kind of found his feet in terms of his career now, looking really good at Middlesbrough. And he offers so much from centre-back. Standout performer for them this season. Absolutely immense. A Middlesbrough team that's had a lot of clean sheets this year. 12 clean sheets for Middlesbrough this season. The reason they're probably not in the playoffs is, of course, down the other end, haven't been able to score enough goals. But that's not anything to do with Paddy Mcnair. 7 assists, 8 big chances he's created this season for them. 1.1 key passes per game. 4.3 successful long balls per game as well. Just highlights that he's just a really, really good player for him. And he's taken the time to kind of, go to Sunderland, didn't work out at Man United, but there's a reason why he was at Man United. And I think for Middlesbrough, this wasn't the season, but next year they will push on. And you could, if they can get Sombalonga scoring goals, what more if he can push on again as well, or if they can bring in someone with a bit more quality up top as well and start to score more goals, then they've got a real chance at the playoffs next season. And Paddy Mcnair will be right at the heart of that. We want a bunch of them. We want 11 Sean Hutchinsons. Let's see how long this goes within this video. Millwall's player of the season for me, Sean Hutchinson, because the defence has been great for Millwall. The defence has really kind of been solid for them. Again, it's quite a similar pattern for a lot of the teams this year. Only 5 teams have had a better defence than Millwall this year. 15 clean sheets. And Sean Hutchinson, be it centre-back or right-back, has been brilliant for them. You know, look at his tackles and interceptions per 90. 4. Really, really high. You know, they play a very functional way. Millwall, it is about percentages to a point. And, of course, someone like Jed Wallace will always be in the conversation. But I feel like he deserves some credit here. Millwall's defence deserves some credit for the season that they've had. So hard to break down. And Sean Hutchinson is my player of the season. I quite like the chant as well. I thought it was quite good. La 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 la, Emi Buendia. La la la, Emi Buendia from Argentina. Although it's dual nationality. He was actually in Spain for a lot of his career. He plays for Norwich City and he is the player of the Championship this year. You know, the best of an exceptional bunch. You could arguably have 6 or 7 Norwich City players in the, you know, team of the season. And if they were playing for anywhere else, they would be player of the season there. 30 goal contributions in 38 matches, 14 goals and 16 assists. 0.8 goal involvements per 90. The guy's a joke. Sometimes it feels like he's playing FIFA. You know, it's so free and fluid, this Norwich City team. One of the greatest Championship teams I think I've seen in terms of just how great they are with the ball. I almost loved watching them beat us the other week, you know, with Todd Cantwell just finding pockets of space, Buendia doing a similar thing. The mix-up between, the team chemistry between him and Pookie as well. 15 Team of the Week inclusions in 38 games. 18 big chances created. Like I said, he's only got 16 assists, so he should have a couple more. 3.2 key passes per 90. And he's getting involved with the defensive side of the game as well. Worked so hard for the team. 3.4 tackles and interceptions per 90. Just, you know, one of the best players that we've seen in the Championship for a long time. Will he be able to stay there? That's going to be huge for them. But he's just grown and grown season on season. What a buy for Norwich City. And, you know, has to be the player of the season. Because if we look at the first half of the season as well, it didn't drag them, but he was crucial for them. One Cyrus Christie. There's only one Cyrus Christie. We are scraping the barrel in this video. Why are you still watching this? Cyrus Christie is my player of the season for Nottingham Forest. Forest, look, 36 goals this season. Not good enough at all. I think with the players and personnel that they've got in this team, you would really hope that they would be, you know, doing a lot better than they have this season. Just a lot of turmoil there a lot of the time. And you look at the back end of this season as well, you know, drawing so many games at the back end of the season. It's been poor, but a bit like Millwall, we look at the defence. They've got the 4th best defence in the league this season, only conceding 43 goals going into that final game of the season. He's only been dribbled past 0.6 times per 90, 2.2 clearances per game, which is good as well. 3 assists, which means he's getting involved in the attacking side of it for a team that doesn't score many goals. 1 key pass per 90 as well. So overall, a good contribution. You know, someone solid at the back, and I think we have to pick someone from Forest's back line because going forward, they've just been pretty dire. It's Ryan Led, son, not Ryan Led, some. It's Ryan Led, son, not Ryan Led, some. Go watch Mike Bassett's England manager, then you'll get that one. Forward-thinking, tidy ball midfielder. He's my player of the season for Preston, backed up by the one and only Ben HD on Twitter. Huge for me to get this one right. 5 assists and scoring 2 goals as well. Averaging 1.5 key passes per 90 whilst also registering 3.6 tackles and interceptions per 90 as well. It's pretty good. He's been booked 9 times but never sent off, which means he's got a little bit of nastiness about him, which I like. Preston have kind of recovered to reek of mid-table, which unfortunately they often do, but they're often punching above their weight. So for them to lose some of the players that they've lost this season, and of course a lot of players kind of out of contract, which is awkward for them. They could have kind of fallen like a stone a little bit. I've been really impressed by Ryan Ledson coming in for someone like Ben Pearson. Such a loss for Preston this season. He's come in, he's been pretty tidy, and he's kept him ticking along. Do you know what's just really made me sad is that we're now going to get onto QPR, and I don't know what the chart is for Rob Dickey because obviously we've signed him. I've never been at the ground. One big Dickey. We've got one big Dickey. God, there's something I've never sung before. Rob Dickey is my player of the year, just in front of Senny Dieng, our goalkeeper, who's had a great season as well. I think part of this is down to Mark Warburton, because there were times where I was thinking, is Rob Dickey quick enough to play in the Championship? Of course, he's great on the ball, and we've seen that. But overall, once we went to a back three, he's just gone up to another level. Him and Barbe on the other side have looked so much more comfortable there. And it's highlighted that it allows him to kind of see the best of him, because he's not as concerned about going over his shoulder and getting done for pace at times, because his turning is a little bit suspect at times. His dual success percentage for QPR, both aerially and on the ground, has been really, really strong for us this year. I think the thing to say about Dickey is that he's just got better as the season's gone on. His total duels won percentage is 67%, ground duels success is 64%, and aerial 69%, which highlights that he's both good defending on the ground and also in the air, which is not always something that you can say about a Championship level centre back. Again, 88% passing success rate inside his own half. So, a proper Warburton centre-back that just needed the right formation to kind of get the best out of him. He's done really, really well stepping up. Really pleased that he has done well. And, he will be a future captain, I think, of QPR at some stage. Xiao. I really like him. Lucas Xiao. That was all right. That was okay. Ratings player of the season, I'm going to go with Lucas Xiao. Team full of ballers. Elise, great. Ajaria, great. Omar Richards, great. But they've fallen off a cliff as the season's progressed. It's a shame. They were right in the hunt for those playoff places. Maybe didn't have the strength in depth to get them into those playoff places in a league, with a lot of teams that have just so much depth, and Barnsley being the one exception to that. Lucas Xiao has been great for them, though. I think, at 6'3", just a great target man for them, but better with his feet than you would imagine. 1.4 successful dribbles per 90 highlights that. His success rate when it comes to dribbling is 63%, which is pretty strong for a guy who's your target man. Fouled 1.7 times per match as well, so he's winning fouls for the team, helping them get up the pitch. I've been really impressed with him because, like I say, at 6'3", you expect him not to maybe have the finishing ability, the mobility that he has got. And after quite a few seasons where we're trying to figure out, is this guy good or not? This season, he's really proved that he is a really good Championship striker. 26 goal involvements this season, 19 goals and 6 assists. He's had a really good season for them, and they've really missed him when he's not been in the team. Player of the season, Lucas Xiao for Reading. On to Rotherham, and this is tough, and I'm going to give it with Mr. Reliable, Wes Harding. Playing at right back, he's only been dribbled 0.5 times per 90, which for a team that's going to not have the ball a lot of the time, they've only got 44.5% possession on average in the games that they've played. Your defence has got to stay strong, and Wes Harding has been a big part of that. Nearly put Daniel Barlasser in there as well. I think he's been good for them. 7 goal contributions, 3 goals, 4 assists for them as well, and winning a lot of duels for them, 4.1 per game. I like Barlasser, but I think if Rotherham stay up this season, it's not truly down to any man. It's about the collective, and because of that, I want to kind of shine a light maybe on someone like Wes Harding, who has just been so reliable for a team that is gasping for air right at the end of this season. What a man, his name's Barry Bannon. Yes, he is. Barry Bannon, player of the season for Sheffield Wednesday. Only 5 assists this season, but I think there's a huge injustice on this one when you look at that stat itself, because he's created 11 big chances this season. So at the very least, he deserves 8 or 9 assists for Sheffield Wednesday this season, who, of course, from the start were up against it. 76% dribble rate as well. It just shows how kind of tidy he is in the Championship. He's a really talented guy. 40.5 passes per game for him this season, which just highlights how important he has been to Sheffield Wednesday, a struggling Sheffield Wednesday. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, I can't think of one for Nick Powell. Nick Powell is my player of the season for Stoke City. Real toss-up between him and Harry Sutar, who looks good as a ball-playing centre-back for them. But let's be honest, Stoke City have been boring. So boring. Of course, because of Tyrese Campbell. Anyone who's a Stoke City fan has spoken about this a million times, so I'm not going to do it. But anyone knows Tyrese Campbell got injured and they basically couldn't score enough goals as a collective. That said, Nick Powell, if you look at last season, he scored 5 goals for the team. This year, 12 goals. He's been much, much better. 5 goals from headers as well. He is a big guy, but, he's kind of known as that attacking midfielder from fans who haven't watched him enough. But he does offer 2 sort of ways of playing. And so the fact that he's kind of led the line for them, he's also created 6 big chances, which I think is actually probably a little bit disappointing for him, but highlights the fact that he does have an element of creativity. He's not just a target man for them. I think if you can get a team that's really clicking together, Nick Powell, again, could double that for me. I'd certainly double his assists for the season. So much potential, always has done, but he's now getting into those years of his career in an Stoke City side that maybe if they can take the handbrake off a little bit and look to sort of be that little bit more expressive, or if they can just get the kind of pistons firing a little bit more, I think you'd see Stoke City maybe offering somewhat of a challenge to get into the Championship playoffs next season. And if so, Nick Powell and the form that he's had this year will serve him well for next season. Connor Roberts, Connor Roberts is my player of the season for Swansea. It had to be someone from the defence. 37 goals conceded going into the final game of the season. It could have been Mark Gay. It could have been Ben Kambango. As a partnership, they've been super solid all season long, and I'm sure there's a lot of Chelsea fans who will go mad at this, but I'm going to give it to Connor Roberts because of the amount of work that he puts in. He's just got an excellent engine, works on that right hand side for them, 66.8 touches per game, 5 goals, 7 assists. They don't even have to really play wingers on that right hand side because he will do that whole job for them, and his ability to kind of get there at the back stick and get some goals for the team as well is not something you normally see from a player playing in that position. So I'm giving it to Connor Roberts. He's really stepped up this season. I'm really excited to see where he goes in his career. I love Ismail Assar. He's a winger for Watford. That is really good. Hit the like button. Christ. Hit the like button. Fuck. God, I'm good. Ismail Assar is my player of the season for Watford. Could have given it to my boy Ben Foster because we're like mates now because we've done a video. It was Dream Teams. If you haven't watched it and you're a Championship fan and you're this far into the video, feel free to click off it and watch an hour and something of Ben Foster just being dreamy. But Ismail Assar is my player of the season for Watford. Adam Messina deserves a bit of credit. He's been great for them as well, but there's been a massive spike in Sar's goals, and that has coincided with Watford getting themselves in those 2 automatic promotion places. 1.9 successful dribbles per game, which is very good. Gets fouled 3 times per 90, which is pretty mad, to be honest, because the opposition can't really deal with him. And he's had a massive injustice this season, because if you look at the assists that he's got this year, he's only got 4 assists. He's created 11 big chances. So at the very least, he should have 6 or 7. So he scored 13 goals on top of that. Wonderful player. Excited to see him back in the Premier League. And if you can kind of get the best out of him, I think next season, Watford could be fine in staying up. Jojo Jacobson. Jojo Jacobson. God, I love Wickham. I'm gutted they've gone down. Gareth Ainsworth, I love you so much. Can't wait for you to come and be QPR manager at some point. Joe Jacobson is a bit of an easy one. I know we often go to him. As a team, they've worked so hard. It's so sad that they haven't been able to kind of get themselves over the line because the second half of the season, or the last third of the season, they've absolutely come alive. But Joe Jacobson, he's stand up and been counted for them. And, I'm sure his leadership has been crucial as well. But set-piece deliveries are always great. 6 assists, and he's averaging 1.9 key passes per game from left back. I had to give it to him. I think he was the player that we were thinking he's definitely good enough for the Championship, and he's proven it this season. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and all the songs and nonsense that have happened along the way. If you have, then please consider doing 2 things for me. 1, like the video. Can we get ourselves 4,000 likes on this? It's a massive ask, but if you've watched to this point and you're a Championship fan and you want me to do more Championship content, then doing things like that will massively help. And of course, again, if you've enjoyed the content, please do hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. We go again next season. QPR are going to get promoted. Maybe not, but we all live. We all live to dream. We don't live. I mean, we all live. We all live to dream. I'll see you later. Bye.